It's Clark and Perry on the case. Da-na-na-na. Clark and Perry.
Do what it takes.
Da-na-na-na. Clark and Perry. Investigate.
The activities and interests of local artists in the Windy City's finest throughout both Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, Alberta. Available on TELUS, Optic TV, On Demand, VidFlex, YouTube, and more for limited time only. Terms and conditions apply.
Da-na-na-na.
Welcome, everybody, to the Windy City's finest. I'm joined here by Maria Livingston, also known as Teal Fawn Designs. You can find on Instagram as well, too. Hello, welcome, Maria.
Thank you.
Very nice to have you as well, too. Now, you have some beautiful presentations as well, kind of off to our flanks here. Can you mention anything about them as well, too? What are they?
Yeah, sure. So I have some beadwork on display as well as some fish scale art. That's something that I do kind of more commonly than fish scale art, but I also do both. So that one is mandala. I did a whole collection of framed beaded pieces inspired by mandalas, and I just love the idea of
the Mandelas, like Nelson Mandela, all that stuff too, or am I totally misreading that?
No, like with I think it's spelled different with an A, mandala.
Gotcha.
Saying it wrong.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I did a whole collection of those. Just the idea of the repeating pattern and kind of, I just really like the look of them. As well, the fish scale art here is what we're going to be doing.
That's beautiful.
So it's made with. Do you want me to just kind of explain?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Delve right into
All
it.
right.
Like, what is it made of?
So they're made from white fish scales. So I know I've gotten like weird questions if they're what it's made of. Well, a lot of people just don't know, but they're made from fish scales from actual used to be a live fish from whitefish in particular because of the size. So they're bigger than some of the other fish out there. And where I'm from, northern Alberta, the whitefish is more accessible there. So that's why I use those ones. So as you can see, I also have a bunch of colors. So the natural color of them is clear, but I've dyed all of these just using like a clothing dye. So
very vibrant and beautiful as well too.
Yeah, they pick up the colors. So wonderful.
That's amazing. This might be a chicken before the egg type of question as well too, but you got beads and you got fish scales presented in front of us. Which came first for you?
For me, it was the beadwork.
Okay, very nice.
You know what? It's been a while for both. So with the beadwork, I was a hoop dancer. I haven't danced much recently, but I learned beadwork. My mom taught me when I was young, and then once I started hoop dancing, so like early 2000s, had to continue. I had to make my own beadwork, my own regalia. So that's where that started. And then I think it was maybe a few years later that my mom taught me the fish scale art. So my mom she taught me a lot of things.
Yeah.
I love her. I love her. She's the best mom ever.
Of course. All moms are.
So she taught me the fish scale art. She actually learned when she was pregnant with me, which I think is pretty cool. That I come from a big family too. I have a lot of siblings. So I think I'm the only one who does the fish scale art. So I think maybe it's kind of connected to me that way, which
almost
I think
spiritually,
is cool.
Of course, like during the whole, wow, that's very interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, she taught me, I don't know, a few years after that, still like late 2000s, maybe around then. And I just fell in love with it, and I've been continuing it. And again, I don't do it as much, but I still like keep it as a common practice. But yeah, I really like it. Within the beadwork, and me being Cree, floral designs are pretty common in the beadwork as well. It's heavily inspired by nature too. So you'll find those in my work in particular is the theme of nature and just the beauty of it, and just showing it in different ways through beadwork, through the fish scale art.
Absolutely. So. I mean, you can get so much, of course, from nature itself. It's very inspiring, just the beautiful images and everything, and just the freshness of the air. It's so good that it's April. I'm so glad.
Yes, yeah, me too.
But that's lovely talking about it. I'm very excited to do it. So why don't you kind of walk me through what exactly we'll be starting off with?
All right. So what we're going to be doing is like this one in the frame here, or you can do something like this, probably stick with the frame, like a floral sort of design. But if anything, like you're not restricted to that, be as creative as you want.
Oh, we'll try our best.
So what we'll do is we'll just open these up, and I kind of pre-prep them a little bit just with the hide on them. They don't come with the hide on them. So you can use different materials. I like to set the frame aside, and then I'll keep this one on there just so I know the area that I'm working with.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah. So then when we go to frame them again, when they're all done, then we'll know the space we're working in. So basically, what you're going to be doing is you glue them on with the glue here. And so you can use this just to put some on, like, I don't know,
Okay,
a
sweet.
teaspoon or so, tablespoon.
Excellent.
And then you're going to be gluing them on one at a time. So that's like another thing that I find similar to the beadwork is that with the beading, I do sew them on like one or two at a time. So it is like a very intentional, very conscious act of creating the work, right? Because you're doing it one at a time, and you're, where painting you could do big brush strokes, but here you're doing tiny little movements.
And do you find your vision kind of changes all through, like throughout the process? As you start with one, you then might be inspired to put one somewhere else or something like that?
I think with the fish scale, yes, because another thing working with this hide is if you, well, I guess with the glue, it dries kind of shiny, as you can see in here. These ones are kind of shiny, right? So they're covered with a top coat of the glue, and that makes them a bit tougher.
Oh,
so that's why they look like that. So the glue we're going to use, if you accidentally drop one, it's going to stay there.
Yeah.
You're not going to move it.
That's fair. So sometimes happy accidents as well too to the creation process. That's good.
Totally. So, but usually I like to start from the center and kind of work my way out. So as you can see in that other one, that's what I'm going to do. If you feel like you would like to do a little tester here, a little tester flower, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, I think I'll need a little bit of practice. I have an idea. I wanted to do a beautiful tree of some sort, but I wasn't too sure what it would look like as well too. So the more testing I get the chance, the better.
Yes.
But no, this looks fantastic. Did you have a image in mind as well too, looking for a flower, or?
Not really.
See what happens.
I'm just going to see what happens. I'm just going to, like I usually do, start in the middle and then work my way out.
You're a lot more comfortable with this anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a strict set of rules and mandates, and okay, if I drop one, it's gone.
Yeah.
Just go with it. All right, sweet.
So I like to keep the colors separate, obviously. It's just kind of easier for me to work with.
Of course.
So I'm going to start with the purple.
Okay.
Because I like it. It's nice and bright.
I'll start with the dark.
So I'm just going to dump some on the table. So I also, I look for the shape that I like. It's up to you if you want them to do that. So some of these, like,
each of them are unique as well too.
Yes. So say like this red one I just did. So the way I dye them is I put them in a pot on the stove and I warm it up a little bit, so that lets the dye get into the scales. So you can see the difference between the purple ones. They're flatter. So that's how they are. These ones are flat as well.
Okay, yeah.
So if you see these ones, they're curlier. So I accidentally let them get a little bit too warm, so that curled them up. So it makes a bit of a different look there. So that's the difference. So you see that.
Wow.
So that's why I kind of tend to look for the shape.
Now, and is that necessarily like purposeful as well too? Like, is more of a curl? Because I notice on here you got a bunch of like curled ones, but then we also have like a different image here where we got more flat. Is there kind of necessarily a process there, or a difference of?
I think it's just a matter of I was literally, these ones, I think they were in the pot on the stove for less than 5 minutes, and it was just a matter of,
that's
just
fair.
had too many things going on at the same time. But I do, like, they're still usable, and I still like the look of them either way. So I'll explain too, just for the sake of it, if you're doing flowers, you're going to start from the outside. And then you're going to work your way in, and you're going to kind of layer them. So as you can see, they'll be able to have like a 3D effect. And like those ones are not flat, right? Because the material itself is not flat. So I just dip the back of it in glue. I'm generous with it, as much as you want. And you will find that the paper is going to be different to work with than the hide. Yeah. So for me, because I'm doing a flower, I'm going to start from the outside and work my way in. So you are more than welcome to do that.
I think, you know what? A flower is probably going to be a safe choice. I might be mirroring a lot of what you do with this, but
All right.
this is very nice. So I think you kind of alluded to this already, but I kind of have to ask. So
Mhm.
where would you consider your artistic story beginning? I think you
Oh
mentioned
gosh.
that even your mother was doing fish scale art when she was having you.
Mhm.
But like, was there a defining moment? Like, did you like when was exactly you started learning this stuff?
Um. Well, I think I already have it. My mom, she loves to tell
Mm,
funny stories. But I would draw this certain smiley face on the walls when I
mhm.
was, I don't know, 3 or whatever. And she would ask who did it, and I would say no. But then she would look at my like actual drawings on paper, and that was my that was my smiley face.
Yeah, yeah.
So I like to think that was the beginning of it. And it's so funny to think of that, and I think that's where my creativity really started and knew no bounds.
That's amazing.
But I think definitely with the dancing, so around high school was when I really kind of got into it. And then there was another big thing in university, I think. Um, University was when because I took Native American Studies as my major.
Of course.
So then when I did that, I got to take the classes, and um, then I started learning more about the history and stuff like
Mhm.
that. What I wasn't, aware of already. Like I was, kind of some, but like an in-depth university course, right? Like you learn so much.
Oh, tons.
Yeah. So that's when I started kind of just, my whole life. I actually started as a fine arts major. So my art portfolio has gotten accepted and everything. And
Mhm.
then I had to take, because I didn't quite meet the requirements of university, but my portfolio got accepted. So I took this program there for First Nation students. And then there I was started getting exposed more to the culture and in the classes and stuff like that. So then I switched my major to Native American Studies.
Mhm.
So that was another big part of kind of shaping my artistic um, space and just really kind of going all in with it because whoops, dropped one. I think I like that was another big part where I just knew kind of started to think of it more as a career focused around my culture, and my art
Mhm.
was around then.
Mhm.
So I just kind of kept going. So
Well, yeah, my post-secondary experience as well too. It really taught me a lot about people and just a
mhm.
lot about like culture and everything and just the way to conduct yourself in a normal society as well
Right.
too.
Yes.
It was very enjoyable. Like I would recommend it to anybody and
Yeah.
everybody as well too.
Yeah.
But
So
I know it's not for everybody. I think I have what looks like to be a flower.
I would say that's a flower.
Heck yeah.
Totally.
Awesome. I
So
really
I was
like
just
yours
gonna.
too.
I know we did get to talking a bit there, but as I was saying, like to have that kind of layering 3D effect. So when I
Mhm.
do the second layer, I'm going to kind of
Oh,
put them on top of the other one. So then it's kind of, if I were to do a big flower, kind of going towards the center
I
sort of thing.
see. I
So
see.
that's what
Okay.
yours is still wonderful.
I was about to say, this is draft one, the flower draft one, but we have much more to go. Okay, let's
Yeah.
see. Let's see. I can follow circles pretty easily.
Yeah.
It's one straight line, just
Yeah,
over
there
and
you
over
go.
and over again. Dropped one, but we're good. Landed face up.
So then for me, I like to use the like curlier ones towards the middle just because then it looks kind of like a real flower, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I kind of like how it basically just kind of is able to hook right underneath.
Yes.
It's just right along,
Yeah.
easily goes along.
Yeah, so I think it was in university when I started doing things like I did a few vendor tables,
Mhm.
to make some money on the side selling my fish scale art, and I did painting for a bit there. And um, yeah, I've actually just since I think about um, December, January, when I got off my maternity leave, when that ended, is when how long I've been running my business like full time. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's been fun and exciting.
So who would you say is your primary target audience in that case as well too? You've had quite the time to develop it.
Like I want to say like I do have a lot of other Indigenous customers, but I mean with my beadwork and my beaded jewelry and stuff, that's kind of I've had a lot of non-Indigenous customers as well,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is amazing. Well, like in general, I'm not going to speak for everyone, but I, want people who enjoy Indigenous culture, Indigenous art to buy from Indigenous artists, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I totally welcome that, 100%.
I think draft 2 is a bit different for me. Yours looks, oh my goodness, that looks
Let's put
lovely.
them together. Thank you.
Mine's got a couple loose petals, but hey, that's something.
Yeah, I'm very particular too,
Yeah,
I think. So I was making sure they were the right shapes that I wanted.
yeah, yeah. Well, I really like, yes, you are right. It really adds a lot of volume too. I like how you use the curls just kind of on primary the interior as well too.
Yeah.
I think these ones would be really, really perfect for that.
Yes.
Similar as well too. I
Yeah.
kind of just added layers.
Oh. Okay, so that's the other thing.
Whoops.
You can't laugh directly on the
Nope,
fish scales.
nope, finding that out. Now, that was something we talked about as well too. These things feel brittle, but they are very tough as well at the same time.
Yeah.
I feel like
Oops.
just very, I don't know, can you? Okay, that's probably enough of that. But you can probably hear just kind of the texture about it as well too, and kind of have an idea about it. But these are very interesting. And sorry, I think I may have missed it as well too. Where exactly do you source like the whitefish scales from?
So I've gotten them, like I've gotten a lot from my mom, who's gotten them from like my dad or my uncle will do the fishing usually, and I'll get them from there. So a little goes a long way, right? So this will last a very long time. I've done from the fishing and the scaling all the way to the end product. So yeah, it's pretty fun.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
I'm not like a huge fisher woman or anything, but
neither am I. But I had to ask as well too if the fish were being caught just for the exclusive use of their scales.
No,
But using the full use and full use of the animal as well.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Clark and Perry on the case. Da-na-na-na. Clark and Perry. Do what it takes. Da-na-na-na. Clark and Perry. Investigate.
The activities and interests of local artists in the Windy City's finest throughout both Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, Alberta. Available on TELUS Optic TV, On Demand, VidFlex, YouTube, and more for limited time only. Terms and conditions apply.
Da-na-na-na.